We've come back from the brink of absolute disaster in the 80s and the 90s, and we now have a beautiful, healthy ocean, which is under threat from massive industrialization. And for today, we've been working on this issue for a number of years, and for today, I think the theme is, as the saying goes, when you're in a hole, you stop digging. And we'll go into that a little bit more in just a moment. My name is Cindy Zip. I'm Executive Director of Clean Ocean Action. And we are here because of climate change. It is real, and there is a need for taking immediate action with meaningful solutions. In fact, the ocean is our best buffer against climate change. The ocean absorbs about 90% of the heat that we've been pumping into the ocean, into the atmosphere, and about 50% of the CO2 that we've been pumping in. So she has reliably and for free been our best buffer against climate change. And that's what we need to do. We need to keep that ocean healthy and keep her and make her even better so that she can continue doing that role as we reduce emissions and reduce the amount of greenhouse gas emissions that we're emitting, causing that climate change. And there are serious alternatives. There are faster, cheaper, safer, cleaner, greener alternatives, which include things like energy waste reduction, including greenhouse gas emission leakage, which is happening in coal fires out in Pennsylvania. It's happening, with methane being wafted off into the air, and also energy efficiency. We can be doing a lot more on that. The government is taking some actions, but we could be doing a lot more and putting many, many more billions of dollars into energy efficiency. Unfortunately, the current state of affairs is that there's a huge amount of investment going on in ocean and offshore industrialization in the form of turbines for ocean wind power plants. It is much too fast. There are a number of projects. The National Marine Fisheries Service says that by 2030, we're going to have 2.2 million acres of offshore wind, 3,500 turbines, and it'll just cause massive industrialization from basically just off Block Island all the way down to Virginia. So this is unacceptable. We've been calling it reckless, which it is. It's not the kind of investment that will reduce the impacts from climate change. In fact, the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management admits the same. Offshore wind is not going to reduce global climate change. But what we need to do is we need to focus on stopping the reckless offshore wind. So we are here today because there is massive projects. Carly will be speaking to the specific projects in a moment, but the allowance, the lack of government due diligence, the lack of government oversight, and the reckless allowance of government opening up these areas has led to this explosive industrial investment. And it's caused, a huge amount of projects going forward, and corporations have jumped in such a way that now, with inflation and supply and demand issues, as well as just the economics, the stocks are plummeting of the companies, and the spiraling costs are now coming back to we, the taxpayers and the ratepayers. Which is, the most classic example, of course, now is the Ørsted bailout. The company said, hey, we can't afford to do this anymore. We need you, the taxpayers and the ratepayers, to give us more money, and if you don't, we'll walk. That kind of coercion had led to the legislature actually passing a law and providing up to $1 billion to Ørsted, just to Ørsted, to try to keep them here. And now they're down in Washington asking for even more money. And now the other companies, the other offshore wind companies, are asking for the same. They want more ratepayer dollars. They want more taxpayer dollars. This industry is out of control. There's so many issues that need to be addressed. The technology, the economics, as we've talked about, the environment, of course, has been the leading issue of Clean Ocean Action's concern. you know, they haven't done the science, they haven't done their due diligence. There's barely any baseline studies that have been completed. Some of them are underway, and yet now we are actually permitting companies, and they're about to start construction. It's unacceptable and unallowable. And in this context, to think that the government would be, New Jersey government would be thinking of allowing even more offshore wind. In fact, allowing up to twice as much offshore wind contracting right now is absolutely unthinkable. And even, you know, we do have bipartisan support for there being a slowdown. You know, we do have the Senate President and the Speaker of New Jersey calling for a slowdown and calling to hold off, and you'll hear more about that in a minute. So with that introduction, I'm going to introduce Kari Martin. She's our advocacy campaign manager. She's going to go over what it is we're talking about with this third solicitation by the Board of Public Utilities, New Jersey's Board of Public Utilities, and go into some of the more of the specifics. And then I'll be back.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Kari Martin. I'm the Advocacy Campaign Manager for Clean Ocean Action. And just to follow up what Cindy said, is the Governor of New Jersey had set out an 11,000 megawatt goal for offshore wind by 2040. And to do that, he announced a solicitation schedule in 2020 to lay that process out. And the state has gone through 2 solicitations thus far. The first solicitation and also the second solicitation has led to 3 projects to be awarded through the solicitation to bring offshore wind energy ashore in the amount of 380 turbines and almost 345,000 acres of ocean to withstand and to build those turbines in that area of ocean. So that's the first and second solicitations. And so those projects are the ones that are noted on our map here. We have the ones off of southern New Jersey. We have the Ocean Wind 1 and 2 and the Atlantic Shores 1 and 2, or Atlantic Shores South as they've been renamed. And so those are the projects that we have through the first and second solicitation. So you may be confused by some of these projects only because New York also has a solicitation process separate than New Jersey's. So New Jersey already has gone through the first and second solicitation and is now seeking a third, which was announced this year. As Cindy mentioned, there's all of this activity, all of these projects already in process they have environmental impact statements, and they're going through the NEPA process. But we are now looking at a doubling of this amount that's already awarded through the first and second solicitations. And these solicitations, the third solicitation, amounts to about 373,000 acres of ocean for construction of additional projects that have not been awarded yet, but they have been leased through the federal government. So those projects are community offshore wind, and which is 125,964 acres, and that's RWE and National Grid. There's Leading Light, which is Invenergy and Energy RE. That's 84,000 acres. So this is this one here. And then we have Atlantic Shores Offshore Wind, which is Shell New Energies and EDF Renewables. That's about 80,000 acres. And Attentive Energy, Total Energies. It's also a petroleum company, as many of these are supported by and proposed by. So that's about 85,000 acres. So we've got all of this happening proposed for the third solicitation, in addition to what we already have that doesn't have a turbine in the ground and has been given bailouts and additional money, and with all those fiscal foes and challenges, moving ahead with more offshore wind is irresponsible, and that's why we're here today. And to reiterate, New York also has a solicitation with first, second, and third solicitations of their own. New York is currently looking to go through the third solicitation process with 6 projects. So there's a lot going on in a small area. I mean, it's the open ocean here, but it's all connected, and it's shared waters. And to talk more about the next year, yeah, to bring that all back to our why we're here today, Cindy.
Great, thanks, Kari. Thanks. So you can see the massive scale we're talking about, and we already are having all of these challenges: the fiscal challenges, the economic challenges, the supply chain challenges, the environmental challenges. And so we are sending a letter today to the governor and to the president of the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities, and to discuss the letter. I'm very excited to introduce Erica Bostak. She is our new policy attorney. She joins us after doing a clerkship in Delaware and having received her law degree from William & Mary. She practiced environmental law throughout her her college career with national and regional non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and also with federal agencies, including the United States Department of Justice. So we're really, really thrilled to have Erica joining us, and this is her first press conference with Clean Ocean Action, and she's drafted the letter that we have now already sent to the governor and to the BPU. Erica.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Yeah, so first, before we get into the meat of the letter, a little bit of background on the third solicitation. So that was opened up in March of this year, 2023. It was scheduled to close, so they stopped receiving contract submissions in June of this year. And the awards, so the actual finalized contracts are scheduled to be given out sometime in Q4 of this year, so time is definitely of the essence. There's also, if all of these solicitations weren't enough, the fourth and fifth solicitations are planned for 2031 and 2033 respectively, so that New Jersey can achieve its renewable energy goals, which we should add have really no basis in practicality, in environmental or technological feasibility. It's purely aspirational. And so with this letter that you and Governor Murphy have now all received, is essentially calling for is a return to practicality in lieu of these aspirational goals that don't have, like I said, any real basis in the economic realities, the environmental realities of our unique state and our unique coast. So our goal is to have the New Jersey legislative and executive branches, so the Governor Murphy and the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities, cancel this third solicitation until we know more about all of the aspects and all of the issues that have come up in the industry. Specifically, we're asking this third solicitation to be canceled until there's an independent study of the marine mammal deaths off of our coast, which is something that COA has been proposing for a while, and we stand firm behind that proposal and our petition that's been signed by over 400,000 people. There was also never a comprehensive and independently reviewed and containing oversight pilot project like there usually is in the offshore wind industry in this area. A pilot project would be a small scale installation that would give us an idea about the actual practical realities of wind industry in this area. And to not have done that is irresponsible, especially when you're proposing this scale of activity. And finally, the Government Accountability Office has agreed at the request of New Jersey legislators to conduct a study, a cost-benefit analysis on offshore wind energy development in the North Atlantic planning area, which is where we are. That's scheduled to begin next month. And we're not exactly sure what the time frame for the study will be. Unfortunately, that's up to the GAO. But before that study is released and recommendations are made based on, generally accepted accounting principles in the federal government, it's just irresponsible to continue developing on this scale. The GAO will give us insights into the economic feasibility, the technological feasibility, all of the impacts to other industries that use the ocean, and the environment, of course, as well. And the letter also contains a statement from, like Cindy mentioned, Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin and the New Jersey Senate President Nicholas Guattari. And I'm just going to read that to you because I think it really captures our whole concerns as well. They say that the legislature has concerns about the BPU's approach on the offshore wind projects. There are still many unanswered questions about the economic impact these projects will have on ratepayers, as well as potential impacts to one of our state's largest economic drivers, tourism at the shore. The BPU should be able to share these impacts with the communities affected and the legislature before moving forward with these new offshore wind projects. So I think they said it pretty well already, and we're essentially echoing this call. So now I'll turn it back over to Cindy for more, back over to Kari for more about the call to action.
Thank you, Erica. So we, the people, are here today, Clean Ocean Action. We are spearheading a campaign to bring responsibility and rationality to offshore wind energy development here in New Jersey. And we're calling on people like everyone here to demand more responsible government actions. None of this risky business would happen if this was proposed on hundreds of thousands of acres of land, if not millions of acres. With the help of groups, citizens, elected officials, and businesses and the general public over the years, we have rallied to stop threats to the ocean over and over again. And it is time that we speak up right now because the ocean is in peril, and we need to push for action to protect the ocean once again. So today we, in addition to the letter that we sent to the governor and to the BPU, we are also releasing a new petition for all to sign and to share at all these fantastic fall gatherings that are coming up in our lives. So take the opportunity to tell people about what's going on, inform them about what's going on and the scale of what's going on. This is just, the map alone just shows how much really is being proposed in this area. And share the petition and sign the petition because the people, it's the court of public opinion that's going to make the changes here, and as has done over many years through all of our campaigns of nearly 40 years, Cindy. So we also have had a previous petition on offshore wind, and that is the one that was calling for an investigation into the marine mammal deaths since December 2022, for which we have about 400,000 signatures on already, and that will be delivered in time, at the right moment, but we still continue to collect those signatures. But primarily, we right now need to stop further offshore wind through the third solicitation. And so it's not only just the people that can take action, it's our elected officials at all levels of government, but we have a resolution for groups or elected officials, town officials to pass. We've shared that with you today to support the cancellation of the third solicitation. So all of this information will be available on our website and through our social media outlets. So we encourage everyone to subscribe and to follow us. In addition, we would also ask that you yourself, as your in your local area, is to contact your own local officials and ask them and urge them to become informed, and to also ask the BPU and the governor to cancel this third solicitation. And to follow up the end for just addressing the lawsuit. Okay. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, just to thank Kari. So to wrap it up, I mean, it's very straightforward, you know, in the in the name of good governance, fiscal responsibility, and environmental stewardship, we've got to stop digging ourselves in a hole. And we've got to put a stop to this third solicitation. It's an easy ask. It's a bipartisan ask. People on both sides of the aisle agree we're moving too fast, so let's stop right there. And, we have lots of issues that we need to address right now with the projects that we have, which is why we were honored and proud and are standing tall with the Cape May County, who announced it, who filed a lawsuit yesterday against numerous federal agencies, in fact, most of the U.S. government, on behalf of the ocean. And we were we are part of that litigation. And our focus and our role is focused on the ecological and environmental impacts to the marine life, the critters whose voices have not been heard at all in this crazy rapid industrialization. So there's a quote from our counsel in the Andrew Province, who was with Litwin Province, and that's in your press packet. But we are very hopeful that we will be able to address through the courts, and most importantly, through the court of public opinion. Thank you so much, and we'll open it up for questions. Anybody have any questions?